Start today's show with CDC Director Rochelle Walensky announcing this last week that the COVID vaccine in America is available to children under 5.
Thank you for joining today's Director Debrief. COVID-19 vaccines are now available for children under 5. With this recent authorization from FDA and recommendation from CDC, nearly 20 million children are now able to get vaccinated against COVID-19. I know many parents with very young children have been anticipating this day. We now know, based on rigorous scientific review, that the vaccines available here in the United States can be used safely and effectively in children under 5. Vaccinating young children is a critical opportunity to protect them against hospitalization and death from COVID-19. Parents, I strongly encourage you to get your children vaccinated. If you have questions, talk to your child's provider to learn more about the benefits of this vaccine. We have taken another important step together in our fight against COVID-19 by making safe and effective vaccines available for our little ones. I hope all parents will take advantage of these life-saving vaccines and protect their children.
And here's Anthony Fauci being Anthony Fauci.
Hopefully, the more people that get vaccinated and boosted and the more people that realize the importance of when you have a high level of viral dynamics, that when you're in an indoor setting, you should wear a mask, even though the whole world, including the United States and the UK, are just worn out and tired by this outbreak. It isn't over yet. People need to realize it is never going to go back to zero. That's not the nature of this virus.
I'm going to keep this live stream short, simple, and sweet. Here's the show. All right, folks, so I saw that clip of Fauci on Twitter, and I saw the clip of CDC Director Rochelle Walensky on Twitter as well, talking about approving the COVID vaccine for children under 5. And I'm going to keep it short and sweet. You know, I could go off and talk about how I normally do, how Big Pharma is the #1 lobbyist in Washington. I could be 100% factual and talk about the PrEP Act and how Big Pharma and also these politicians and agencies that, you know, will tell you, go do this, go do this, go do this, talk to your doctor, etc. They have no liability for side effects because the PrEP Act shields the vaccine manufacturer from that. I could talk about just if you have like raw human energy and you look at Rochelle Walensky, she's like so, you know, really dark, like energy wise unhinged. She makes AOC look like the Dalai Lama. You know what I'm saying? With her energy. I could talk about all of this type of stuff, but you know, this is one of the most censored topics in the world because big tech is just like absolutely, you know, going overboard to just censor anybody who's skeptical, critical, honest, accurate. Of course, they censor fake information as well, but they censor also a lot of true information or just like opinions and skepticism / backlash that they don't want. But I just want people to use their common sense. So I'm going to keep this very, very simple. You know, we've had 2 years, over 2 years. I know it didn't last forever, but a lot of these things have still kind of lingered. 2 years of restrictions, lockdown, vaccines, masking, and economic implosion. And the government experts like Rochelle Walensky, she's not just a vaccine salesman. She's not supposed to be. She's the leader of the Center for Disease Control. And Fauci works for the NIH and the NICID, but the NIH is National Institute of Health. You know, they're supposed to care about health and disease control. I just want people to use your brains. I don't care if you got 2 vaccines, 3 vaccines, the Pfizer, the Johnson & Johnson, Moderna. I don't care if you didn't. I'm just telling you, how much do you hear Rochelle Walensky and Dr. Fauci talk about diet, exercise, fitness, mental health, routine, taking care of yourself, the science behind diet, the science behind exercise, the science behind fitness and mental health, the science behind having a routine and a purpose, and the science behind taking care of yourself mentally and physically? How much do you hear these people talk about that? Because I can think of like thousands of video clips of both of them and experts in the government talking about vaccine as big tech censors everything, vaccine. And I'm just thinking to myself, whether you have 1, 2, 3, are they ever going to tell people the truth about diet, exercise, fitness, or are they just going to sweep that under the rug as if nothing matters except for selling vaccines? That's Big Pharma. Sell. You're not going to talk about childhood obesity rising as a direct result of your lockdowns. You're not going to talk about we had the record number of pharmacy pill overdoses the other year, people dying of fentanyl, people dying of opioids, the country being more obese than it's ever been. And the childhood obesity that they've risen through the pandemic because they shut down gyms, beaches, churches, spas, kids' sports for a year. Does obesity have an impact on disease? Does obesity have an impact on health? Does obesity have an impact on life expectancy? And also, is there a direct correlation between obesity and, COVID-19 and, on average, not to everybody, but how much harder it hits you, like hospitalization rates? All this information's out there. It's not even hidden. It's like CNN mainstream stuff if you look at like hospitalizations among obese and et cetera. But these people just seem so not concerned about any of that stuff. They could not be less concerned about diet, exercise, physical health, mental health, and more importantly, as they constantly just bully people. These are big bully. They seem to have no sympathy, empathy, and compassion, or even just basic scientific analysis of all of the negatives of all this stuff they're doing. It's like, okay, if you lock down a country, yeah, you might think you're doing this, or, you might actually do something, but did you knock the economy? Did you make kids fatter? Do you care? They don't care. They don't care. All they want to do is just sell, push. And this is just a fact, folks. If you watch a pharmacy commercial, if you watch a pill commercial, there's an ambulance coming. It must be, somebody who didn't get boosted as many times as Fauci told him. But in general, when you watch a pill commercial, I got to be real factual. I got to be real accurate because the fact checkers, they even penalize me when I'm right because they're a bunch of weasels. But in general, every pill commercial you watch, right? It's like, here, take this. You'll probably be fine. It's great for you. But here's the side effect. The side effect is this. Talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor if you're this. Talk to your doctor if you're this type of person. If you're a pregnant woman, talk to your doctor. If you've recently had a vaccine, talk to your doctor. Every pill commercial is like that because they have to list the side effects and they have to be very careful with who they recommend it to because they're liable. And I believe that when they tell you in the commercial all the side effects, that shields them from liability. Like we told you, when it comes to this COVID thing, they keep saying safe, effective, it's effective. For most people, sure, but at the same time, long-term trials, we are the long-term trials. There are no COVID vaccine like there are for other vaccines. We've had 40, 50, 60, 70 years of this vaccine. COVID vaccine's new, so 10 years down the road, yeah, sure, but they don't really know what's going to happen down the road. It's probably going to be fine, but when they say all this stuff, the reason they don't have to, when CDC director, like the reason she's not like a pill commercial, and she's like, listen, it's going to be safe and effective for most people. It's great. It's going to help you, but if you're this type of person, if you, talk to your doctor, if you, it might cause this, they don't have to list that stuff. And I'm not saying that it's like happening to everybody or super common or anything, but side effects are real. Adverse reactions are real, and they could sweep it all under the rug because if you talk about it, big tech will block your story. Even if you were literally injured and you could prove with a doctor's note that you were injured from the product that they pushed, they will still, on certain cases, on certain social media, just wipe your page away as if you don't even exist. Imagine that. You follow all the science, something bad happens, you're a rare case, and then they sweep you off of social media as if you're not even a human being anymore. These people are straight up sick. And that's all I ask. I know they have the PrEP Act, which is a liability shield, shielding Big Pharma from having any liability for side effects. But I think if they were decent people, they would just be like, listen, this is safe and effective for most people. Most people will be fine. This is what we recommend. We've done the studies. But, just like in a pill commercial, I would assume, I don't know, I don't really take pills and the commercials, but it's like I would assume most people who take it are fine in those too, because if it was like so bad, they probably wouldn't sell them on TV. But it's like, yeah, most people are going to be fine, but this is a possibility. If you're this, they don't have to do that. That's all I want to tell people, and that's just a fact. That's the liability shield called the PrEP Act, and there's going to be some legal conundrums going on with that too, because I don't know how long it lasts. I have to do more research, but a lot of this stuff is like emergency shields. It's like during an emergency, this happens, it lasts for this many years, etc. So all of this might be eventually like, there's probably going to be some big court cases on it. I know a lawyer working on it. That's all I want to say. Outside of all this stuff, I just want to tell people, if these people really cared, okay, they'd be talking about fitness, diet, exercise, mental health, the fact that kids are overdosing on fentanyl. But these people running the show, they look like Rochelle Walensky, absolutely out of their minds. And they're just pushing confusion on the children. Confuse your kids, confuse your kids, confuse your kids. but, they have no problem taking away their sports for 2 years. So it's like, let's bring up all this confusing sexual and gender stuff when you're 5 years old, and that's fine for your kids. But, I don't think your kid should be allowed to go play soccer outdoors for a year because of this virus. And then 2 years later, it's like childhood obesity spikes. They have no shame. They don't apologize for anything they did. They probably made millions of kids fatter, millions of people more depressed, tens of thousands of people suicide, overdoses, you know what I'm saying? Lost their job, economic plunders, which spiraled them into depression. And I'm not saying to use that as an excuse, level up, God is great, and don't cave to these cowards. But it's like, they have no shame. Nobody in the Republican Party, Democrat Party, these agencies that never move, like a Fauci who just sits there no matter who's in office since Reagan, they have no shame at all. And this is all I want to say, and I'm going to end this video to keep it brief. If you really cared, I don't care how pro-vaccine you are. I don't care if you guys are, sucking off the money, boob of Pfizer, for lack of a better word. I don't care if you're sucking it up and just doing whatever you do. I don't care if you believe in the product and you're not making $1 off and you think it's great. If you were really honest people, even if you were recommending this to adults and then teenagers and then, now under 5, that's the new thing. If you want me, I can't speak for everybody else, but if you want me to believe you and millions of people that are using their heads, you got to talk about diet, fitness, mental health, exercise, routine, taking care of yourself, because this weighs into the equation, not just statistically of hospitalizations, but also heart disease, diabetes, so many things that are preventable if, you take care of yourself over time. They don't care. Do you know why? It's the same reason, in my opinion, metaphorically, it's the same reason they GMO cows when they're on a factory belt. It's like the fatter the cow, the more meat, the more money. They don't care what happens to the cow. Like, yeah, it might not be as good meat. Yeah, it might not be great for the cow, but that's more money. It's the same with people. It's like the fatter you are, the sicker you are, the more pills in your mouth, the more money they're making. And the more their agenda goes on and the more depressed people there are, the more you have these mass tragedies, and the more mass tragedies they have, now they can try to take away your rights. And I'm not saying they're causing them, but I'm just saying it doesn't seem like they want to get to the root of any problem. And if you want to get to the root of health, whether you talk about medication, whether you talk about injection medication, pill medication, swallowing medication, I'm not anti-pharma completely. Like, there's some great products. There's some great innovations in human history, like, that don't need a bunch of censorship and a bunch of freaking, you can't even disagree with this to get into a comedy store. Oh yeah, that proves it's really good. There's some great innovations in human history that are so good that nobody even questions it, like clean water or Band-Aids or hospital beds or, like cleaning material to clean all the tools and stuff. Like, these things are so great. You don't got to censor people off Facebook. Just, I don't think hospital beds are good. Everybody thinks they're good. Yeah, this product's so great that, they have to censor everybody who criticizes it or is skeptical of it. Oh, that really proves that it's one of the greatest human accomplishments ever. It's like, it's so obvious. But in general, if you want to get to the root of health, we can talk about medication. Obviously, that's a part of the wheel. If, we're a circle of health. Fitness, diet, exercise, mental health, routine, taking care of yourself, having a good community. These all weigh into mental health and physical health, really. And the health experts don't seem to give one single hoot. The health experts and the politicians seem a lot more like used car salesmen for big pharma than they do people that are concerned with your health. So all I have to say is, as I end this stream, after 2 years of restrictions, lockdown, all this stuff, if you don't realize that these people are like 99.9999999% talking about this and less than 0.001% talking about fitness, diet, health, and all of the physical and mental destruction that they cause with their sicko overreaching policies, I mean, it's not even worth getting angry, upset about. Just protect your family, do what you have to do for those that you love and for yourself, obviously, overall. And at this point, it's like you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So if people haven't figured this out yet, then it's like pretty much useless at this point. 2 years of lockdown restrictions, masking, etc., vaccine culture. If you don't, at bare minimum, whether you have 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, no shot, I don't care what your stance on vaccine. If you don't realize that these people aren't talking about root level health, like diet, exercise, etc., mental health, routine, and they don't give a single crap about it, I mean, it has nothing to do with vaccinated versus unvaccinated. It's the new Democrat versus Republican, fight each other, folks, and we'll just make a cash cow on you. It's like, yeah, I'm blue, you're red, let's fight with each other. Let's not fight. I'm tired of both parties, to be honest. It's like, I'll vote one way, but I don't even care that way. Oh, I don't like Trump. I don't care. Cool. You know, I don't like that. I don't like Ted Cruz. Neither do I, but for different reasons. You know, it's like, I'm over that. And now it's the new vaccinated versus unvaccinated. It's like, I'm not even buying into that stuff. I'm not one of these people that's like, unvaccinated gonna fearmonger about the vaccinated, and the vaccinated fearmonger about the unvaccinated. You could feel how you feel, talk to who you want to talk to, listen to the doctors or whatever, but you know, as they say, but I'm not buying into it. You know, it's not a vaccinated versus unvaccinated for me. It's whether you got it or not. If you don't realize that they're not talking about some of the most scientifically important parts of health. This is science, folks. Diet is science. Fitness is science. Working out is science. Routine is science. Mental health is science. There's science behind community and family. This is all science. Science isn't just pharma and vaccines. Oh, science, 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 science. That's not science. That's not science. And before I leave, you know, any innovator, whether it's Watson and Crick, people who discovered the double helix, any great equation, you know, engineers like the Wright brothers who created the airplane, etc. Every great inventor would have been banned off of Facebook. Every great inventor would have been banned off of Instagram. Any great inventor or innovator in science, Kary Mullis was heavily censored. He invented the PCR test that they used this whole pandemic, and he was getting smeared when he was alive. Any great inventor would have been banned off social media. Do you know why? Because it's not about the scientific consensus. Every scientist agrees. Well, you know what? Eventually there's going to be a better scientist who comes up with a better idea, and he defies 99% of the scientific consensus, because that's science. It's all about innovative and questioning, not living in a communist society where Fauci gets to be Mao Zedong and you're not allowed to question him even though he sucks. You know, that's not science. That's not innovation. That's turning America, which used to be innovative and create and invent and be great, into another communist country that doesn't do crap except for steal stuff and take money from citizens. So, you know, any great inventor and innovator would have been banned off of social media because they would have questioned the narrative. And nobody successful or innovative has ever been innovative without questioning the narrative, because human history was not always right. Okay, so anybody that thinks that this is unquestionable, you're not very smart. And on that note, I had something else to say, but I forgot it. It was definitely legendary and pretty epic, but whatever. Clearly not epic enough for me to remember on that little rant. But yeah, the censorship is just out of control. Oh, I remember what it was before I go. God bless y'all. Thanks for being here. And when they talk about the scientific consensus, they always say, well, all of the scientists agree. Okay, so if America is greenlighting the Pfizer or the Moderna or both, I'm not exactly sure which one, maybe it's both of them, the COVID vaccine for under 5, is every country with Pfizer and Moderna doing it? Is every European country doing it? Is all of our allies? Oh, they're not doing it at the same time. That's weird. How come everyone's not doing it at the same time? I thought that science was this unilateral thing that just everybody does all the time. How come at one point the World Health Organization disagreed with the CDC? I remember that because if you're on Facebook, if you disagree with the World Health Organization, they'll flag your video. If you disagree with the CDC, they'll flag your video. Ooh, I'm in a conundrum now because the World Health Organization and the CDC were actually disagreeing for a long time about a vaccine problem. And I reported it. And I'm like, can I even report on this? Because now these two entities disagree with each other. What am I going to get double censored for that? So, you know, oh, the science is settled. It's not settled. In order to innovate or be creative or honest, you know, they've always gone against the grain of the medical establishment to create, invent, and innovate. And also this idea that everybody in the world just agrees on everything all the time. It's clearly not the case because every country that uses the same vaccines as us is not approving it for the same kids at the same time. You know, they're taking their own time. They have their own thing. And actually, I actually believe in that. I believe in sovereignty of nations and working individually and doing different things. America was supposed to be an experiment. It wasn't supposed to be everybody has to do this at once. It's like, no, you know, do that in, I don't know, Los Angeles if you want to do it. Do it in New York City if you want to do it. That's why they want so bad to get rid of people like Ron DeSantis, etc. I'm not saying he's perfect, but Ron DeSantis doesn't do what all the Democrats do in unison. So he screwed up their whole plot. You know, say what you want about DeSantis. He screwed up their whole plot. We all have to do this. We all have to lock down. Everybody's going to die. Well, I looked at Africa. Everybody's not dying in Africa, and they're not listening to us. Florida, people aren't dropping dead in Florida. I mean, I know you guys are pretending like you're doing, but I had the data in front of me. I'm like, it's not nearly as bad as you're saying. Sweden didn't do a massive lockdown like America. Sweden's death per capita ended up not even being in like the top ones. You had, I believe, I don't remember if it was Chile or another one of the South American countries. They had the world's strictest lockdown. I forget which country it was. And then they were number one in deaths per capita. I was like, world's strictest lockdown, number one deaths per capita. You have other countries doing other things. You know, that's why they want to control everybody all at once, because if you do your own thing, it's not like, oh, you're the bad one. Ron DeSantis is killing everyone in Florida. It's like, no, Ron DeSantis is ruining the illusion that they created, that if you don't listen to these experts, then everything's going to go awry. When that wasn't the case in Florida, that wasn't the case in Sweden, that wasn't the case in Africa, that had scientists mystified according to reports. It's you know, sovereignty, doing different things. That's what humanity's about. We're not robots. We're not in a communist system. Be you, be different, be unique. Question Big Pharma, question the government, question me in my videos, you know, question what you want. That's what life's about. It's not like copying everybody and walking hand in hand. That's called like, you know, 1984. That's called like iRobot. Everybody does the same exact thing. You disagreed with the consensus. It's like any great musician or inventor had to disagree with everyone else to be themselves and to create something new. And eventually in human history, if you look, things keep getting better for a long time. Cars get better. Planes get better. Do you know why? Because people don't do the same thing. Do you know what's happening? I'm sorry to, keep my rant going, but you know what's happening in America now? For the first time, we're like inventing, creating, we're so cool. And now we're just getting dumber and fatter and weaker and jokier. And our military's a joke compared to what it used to be. Do you know why? It's not because of the free market. I don't even care how gay you want to be or left wing you want to. In a free market, you'll get what you need to get, and I'll get what I need to get. You know what I'm saying? Life and God works for me. I don't need to talk about what you're doing and bother you. But in general, we don't have a free market anymore, so our country's tanking. If you got to do all your stuff and everybody else got to do theirs, this country would be fine. But it's like we can teach sexualization to your kids at 3, but if you try to combat it as a teacher, you're a terrorist. We could force vaccinate people and say that they're not allowed on cruises if they don't get vaccines. But if you question the product that we have no liability for, and the product that we gave money to, and the product that lobbies both sides of Washington, that pays off the television stations, and product that works with big tech, if you question that product, you're not allowed in our free market. It's not a free market anymore. It's not a free system anymore. And that's why America's declining, philosophically, and I guess psychologically maybe would be the better thing. When you're allowed to innovate and invent, things happen, things get better. When we're restricted by big government and you're not allowed to say anything, things get worse, people get fatter. Our life expectancy is actually going backwards. Kids are getting fatter. This is not good. That's health. The health CDC should be like, wee. I think I might have some sound effects right here. I don't want to hit the wrong one. Let me see if I got a sound effects. I don't want to do the wrong one, but it's like, they should be sounding an alarm. Kids are getting fatter. Childhood obesity is on the rise. We need to stop this, because when childhood obesity is on the rise, diabetes is going to be on the rise. Hospitalizations are going to be on the rise. This is a real health crisis. They don't give a shit. They're the ones who made your kids fatter. It's like asking the villain who broke into the window. And they're sitting there, the CDC, and they're, I don't know. It could have been anybody. No, it was them. They're responsible for some of the most egregious, betrayals of health in modern history. Childhood obesity rising at the rate that it's rising is going to affect millions of people, millions of hospitalizations over the course of time. We got 300-something million people in this country. They don't give a shit. So without getting too upset, if you haven't figured it out by this point, I think a lot of people here have. But if you haven't, I would say, what else could it possibly take? I don't care how many vaccines you got. I'm not here trying to argue how great everything is. I'm just saying basic common sense, basic science, basic health. They don't give a crap about it. And if the fact checkers are watching, have a good week and go to hell. And I'm just kidding. But in general, God bless you guys. It's just like, leave my stuff alone. These fact checkers, it's like, you're so bad at your job. You're so unimpressive. You guys are so pathetic. That's fine. There's Huffington Post, They got all these blogs and stuff. I don't care. Everybody does their own thing. It's like a musician, you know? I don't care how crappy your music is, but the second you come on my stage and you're like, excuse me, fact check, it's like that's like the metaphor of what they're doing. It's like, I don't care how disgusting you are. I don't care how terrible you are. Just stay off my stage, right? No, we got the stage because we work for the farmer. And it's like, cool, fact checkers. You know, the reason I'm talking to them is because I know they stalk my videos because it's like, you know, they're little operative fraud weasels. So, you know, I'm just giving them some entertainment. If you're watching, they're, you know, they're like sucking hot sauce. Did you watch the Anomaly stream? Did you watch the Anomaly stream? Did he make any mistakes this time? We've been watching him for like 3 months. He hasn't made any factual mistakes. Well, technically, he didn't make a mistake, but we could say that, you know, because he linked to his Instagram page and I'm eating pizza bagels, that technically, you know, it's safe and effective. It's like, you know, these people are just such losers. Pray for them, because it's like, you know, what comes around goes around, and these people, it's like, I feel bad. I'm like, this can't be a rewarding job. You know, it's like you work in a nurse's office, you're helping people, you know, you work in it like an ER, you're like, you save someone's life. Like, you guys are like a net negative on the world. You guys are like parasites. You know, it's like, it can't be rewarding. So it's not enough hot sauce to guzzle down in the world. You guys got to stay off my videos. Appreciate y'all. God bless you guys. Have a beautiful day. And I'll be back soon. Have an amazing week. And thank you guys for watching my videos. I appreciate it. And when it comes to this stuff, you know, protect yourself, your family, do what you can, but don't get too upset at it. I know it's just annoying and it's crazy, but people don't get it. It's on them. You know what I'm saying? If you get it, it's nothing new. It's going to be Monday for you, and, you know, it's not a big deal. Have a good one, guys.